Good morning, class 8 students. In chemistry, we continue with the explanation of the third chapter of elements, compounds, and mixtures. And in this, children, we see that we had talked about last time, children, in the second video about the characteristics of compounds. If you remember that compounds, they contain elements, and the compounds, they also show reactions like exothermic and endothermic reactions when they are reacted with other chemicals. We also studied last time about mixtures, about homogeneous and heterogeneous types of mixtures. We also studied in video second about the true solutions, if you remember, the definition of the true solutions, and about colloidal solutions, etc. Today in this video third, we continue with example of colloidal solutions. If you remember that we had talked about the colloidal solution and the example was milk. We see that it's complex mixture of calcium ions. Milk contains calcium ions, it contains sugar and other vitamins in water, which cannot be filtered. Therefore, it is known as colloidal solution because all the large particles are there, large solute particles are there, but they cannot be filtered and they cannot be separated. These are colloidal solutions. Then we also come to know about suspensions. When the solute particles are big enough to be seen separately and can be filtered, leaving solute particles as a residue, such a solution is known as suspension. Let me explain with an example. Do you see this example? Here we see sawdust in water. So we see that the sawdust particles are very clearly suspended, or they can be seen hanging in water. So this is a suspension, and in this the particles of solute, which is sawdust, are so big that they can hang in water, and these can be filtered out, and the residue that is left behind on the filtering sheet will be the large solute particles. Now let us see at some characteristics of the mixtures. Various characteristics are that the constituents of mixture may be present in any proportion or any amount by weight. We see that the different proportions of mixtures, they can contain any set of elements in it. One element can be more in quantity, the other element can be less in quantity. Then we see a second characteristic of mixtures is that there are no chemical bonds between the constituents of mixture. For example, we see that iron filings or very minute particles of iron in sulfur powder, they have got no chemical bonds between them, but the powder of the two different substances or elements is mixed together. Third, we see that the mixture can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. That means there is no energy change during formation of a mixture. We don't have to exert heat energy, or we don't have to do any chemical change in formation of a mixture. It can be made easily. The constituents of a mixture can be separated by physical methods. For example, the example I had taken of iron filings and of sulfur particles. The iron nails or particles can be separated by bringing a magnet near this mixture. So all the iron particles would stick to the magnet and sulfur particles would be left behind in the dish. Then we see that mixtures, they do not have fixed melting and boiling points, because the two or three ingredients or the substances that are mixed together, they have their own different melting and boiling points. So the mixture melting and boiling points are not fixed. How do we prepare mixture? We see that we can prepare mixture by grinding powder of iron filings and of sulfur and keeping them in a dish. So we see here a mixture here, and in a compound we see that iron and sulfur, they are heated together. When they are heated together, they do not have different substances in the powder, but a compound, a shiny compound, is formed by heating iron and sulfur, producing a product, iron sulfide. Then we see a second method of preparation of mixture. We see in a mixture how the prepared mixture can be separated easily. I had already discussed 2 minutes back that when we use a horseshoe magnet, then the iron filings in the iron and sulfur mixture, they stick to the magnet and the yellow sulfur is left behind. This is not possible in the compounds. In the compounds, we see when magnet is brought near iron sulfide compound, then there is no change. Nothing comes out in the form of iron to stick to the magnet. Then we see another important aspect in the test of mixtures. When HCl acid is added to a mixture, when HCl acid is added to a mixture of iron and sulfur powder, then it retains individual properties. We can see here that in this mixture, two gases come out. We see hydrogen gas coming out, and we see that unreacted sulfur is at the bottom of the test tube. And when a burning stick or straw is brought at the mouth of the test tube, then it burns with a blue flame, indicating that hydrogen gases come out. Whereas on the other hand, in a compound, iron sulfide, which we had formed earlier, this compound iron sulfide, when it is reacted with hydrochloric acid, it does not give hydrogen. Instead, it gives a gas with rotten egg smell, and we can recognize that this gas is hydrogen sulfide gas, because H2S gas has rotten egg smell, and the other compound is iron chloride. Then we see another reaction to differentiate between mixture and a compound. In a mixture, when carbon disulfide is added, then we see on adding carbon disulfide to a mixture of iron and sulfur powder, sulfur dissolves in carbon disulfide, leaving behind the iron which is undissolved at the bottom of the test tube. Whereas when we come to a compound, we see here, children, that the carbon disulfide is added to the compound. There is no visual change observed, and this indicates that the compound is insoluble. The whole of the undissolved iron sulfide, it settles to the bottom of the test tube. Then children, we also see here that there is a lot of difference between mixture and compound. Here, if we see the differences and we understand the differences, they are like this. A compound is formed from its constituent elements as a result of chemical reaction. We saw how the iron and sulfur were heated together, and because of the heat, the chemical reaction took place to make the product as iron sulfide. Is that clear, children? FeS was made by a reaction of heating iron filings and sulfur together. But in mixture, we see mixtures obtained from its element compounds as a result of physical change only. Only powder of iron and sulfur was ground together, but there was no chemical change involved. In a compound are homogeneous always, but mixture can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Then we see that in a compound, the elements are present in fixed ratio by weight. There is a fixed ratio of elements, whereas in mixture, the components can be in any proportion, in any ratio. There is no fixed ratio. Then in compounds, we see the properties of compounds are different from those of its elements, whereas the properties of a mixture lie between those of its components. Then we see in compounds, the components of compound, they cannot be separated by physical method, but we only have to use chemical methods to separate the elements of a compound. Whereas a mixture, the components of mixture can be separated by physical methods, as I showed you that iron filings could be separated from sulfur powder by using magnet. Then we see that a compound formation from its elements is accompanied by an energy change. Either energy is released or energy is absorbed. Whereas in mixture, we see formation of a compound does not involve an energy change, children. Then we see here there are types of mixtures, and the mixtures may exist as solid mixtures, or the mixtures, they may exist as liquids or gases. Some mixtures are depending upon the physical state of its components, and mixtures can be both homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures, and these mixtures can be very nicely classified as we see on page number 45. Solid mixture, a homogeneous mixture. The example is brass, bronze, solder. Brass, we already know, made of copper and zinc together. Then we see that solid mixture, there can be heterogeneous in nature, like it can be homogeneous, it can be heterogeneous. For example, we saw common salt and sand put together. They are very clearly seen. So this is a heterogeneous mixture where both the components can be separately seen. Then we see solid liquid mixture, which can be homogeneous. For example, we can see sugar in water, mixed in water. This is a homogeneous mixture where we can't see a difference between water and sugar components. Then we can also see solid liquid mixture, which is heterogeneous in nature. For example, sand in water. We can see after some time the sand settles down at the bottom and water is above. So this is a heterogeneous mixture of solid and liquid. Then we see, children, another mixture here, and this mixture is liquid mixture, and the example of liquid mixture which is homogeneous is water and alcohol. When we mix them together, then they mix with homogeneity, and we cannot find difference between where is water and where is alcohol. Then children, another example of liquid mixture which is heterogeneous mixture. This is an example of carbon tetrachloride and water. Carbon tetrachloride, because it is lighter than water, it floats on top of water. So this is a liquid heterogeneous mixture. Then we see a liquid gas mixture which is homogeneous, like carbon dioxide dissolved in aerated drinks. We all know about soda water, children, and we see that in soda water, the carbon dioxide, it is mixed with a gas, carbon dioxide mixed with a liquid, and when we open this bottle, only then carbon dioxide is released and we can see the bubbles. Then we see liquid gas mixture which is heterogeneous. Here we see sulfur trioxide dissolved in water, and we see that here is a funnel attached to the water, and we put in sulfur trioxide through this funnel, and sulfur trioxide comes and mixes into water, but the sulfur trioxide, it dissolves slowly in water, showing the heterogeneous nature. Then we see a gas mixture which is heterogeneous, which is air. We can see in air all kinds of gases are mixed together. So we see here so many different kind of mixtures. Now children, we see that separation of components of a mixture can be separated into its components on basis of the physical states of the constituents or the components that are making a mixture. We also can see that the difference in physical properties of the constituents can be the different constituents of mixtures have different melting points, or they have different boiling points, or the components have different density, or the components are volatile, some are non-volatile. Volatile means that they can escape as vapor, so this is volatility. Then we see different components have different solubility in various solvents, like one of the universal solvents is water. Likewise, we have got carbon tetrachloride, spirit, kerosene, other solvents. Then we see that the difference in physical properties of constituents can be made by magnetic properties of the components. Then there is a difference that can be made by sublimation, where sublimation is a process, children, wherein by heating solid, it directly changes into gas without changing into liquid. Then we see diffusion is also a way of mixture wherein one gas diffuses into another, or one kind of solid, it diffuses into a liquid. So children, we will study till here today, and go through this video very carefully to understand it. Wish you all the best. Thank you.